Welcome everyone and really appreciate your time spent to joining our webinars today. Hope you will get some information from here. Topic is Minitab Workspace, the ultimate toolkit for process and product excellence. I'm Sulawati. I'm the technical support specialist at Visit System. Visit System are independent local and representation for Singapore, Malaysia and Batam, Indonesia. Okay. Before we get started, I have some housekeeping item. We have a Q&A session after the presentation. So please submit any question you have and we will try to do our best to answer them all if have time. If no, we will answer afterwards by email. Please fill out our survey before you exit the tab. This survey will help us to improve the quality of upcoming webinar. So we recommend viewing this webinar on your laptop or PC for the best result. We record this webinar and upload to our website and our YouTube channel, Minitab Malaysia and Singapore. So there's no problem if you miss anything or want to review after this. Okay, so Minitab provides you of tools like Minitab statistical software, our flagship product. We have also something like Sulfur predictive modeler. We have a more Minitab Connect. We have a quality trainer. We have the Minitab Workspace, and then we have the Minitab Engage. But today we want to focus only for Minitab Workspace. Minitab Workspace actually is a separated software, okay, software from our flagship product, Minitab Statistical Software, but it's one of the Minitab product. Okay, for those are familiar with the companion where another product of Minitab Workspace is a new branding for desktop version of companion by Minitab. Okay, so before this we have something like quality product and so on. So now we rename that as a Minitab Workspace. So our agenda today, we start with the overview of Minitab Workspace itself. Okay, for those are new with Minitab Workspace, what is the Minitab Workspace? And then in the Workspace, we have option to open as a tools. Okay, we want to see after this something like tools. We call the tools something like process map, okay, your form, your analysis capture, your brainstorming, and then Monte Carlo simulation. Maybe the part of the analysis in this software is something like for Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, others is something like a form or template. Okay, and then we also can open Minitab Workspace as the roadmap. Roadmap is something like combination of all these tools. Okay, a roadmap here is referred to something like DMIC, PDCA project, PPAP project, and so on. So you can able to open Workspace as a tools and the roadmap. Okay. So this one is something like visual tools, okay, and a form in one package, okay, that help you maybe create your own process. You want to identify your improvement opportunities, and then maybe you can solve your problem with easier step. Okay, so normally we have more than, I think now is more than 100 tools available in Minitab Workspace. And then they have visual tools, okay, and then something like is quite good for this one is a data sharing between the tools. Something like you start with the process map, for example. Okay, from the process map, you declare your step of your process, something like you want to do cookies. Say you need to mix the ingredients and then you make it the pattern and then you bake. So something like process. Okay, from the process you identify your X variables, maybe your parameter, and then your Y variable for each process you set up. So from there, you maybe want to see others tools using the same variables. Maybe you want to do the brainstorming, or you want to do the something like FMEA, so you can share that criteria, okay, between each of those. And then of course they have a project with the roadmap. Roadmap is something like it will help you more on this one. Okay. Okay, so this one is an example of the tools are available and the roadmap available in the Minitab Workspace. I think most of us using more on the process map. After this, we look on this one. So if let's say you want to see on this one, maybe you can click on this link to see all the lists are available in the Minitab Workspace. Okay. I will copy and paste it to this link into the chat box. Okay. Okay. So we go for the first tools available. It's something like form. Okay, form is like you document project, like your project charter, okay, like your mini meetings form, and then maybe you want to perform calculation, something like SNE metric. Okay, in the Minitab Workspace, actually for the calculation inside the CNE metric, so no worries, Minitab Workspace will do for you. Okay, maybe you want to see something like 5Y. Okay, why happened, what happened, and then maybe you want to do something like FMEA. Okay, so as we know in FMEA, you need to calculate something like a severity, and then maybe you want to look on the RPN. So no worries, after you include all the information, Minitab Workspace will calculate to you. Okay, so this one is a form. Then after that, maybe you can see something like analysis capture. It's something like before this, you always using Minitab statistical software, something like you will do the capability analysis. Maybe you do the control chart, and they might make trigger that you don't know what the output you must include into the report. Maybe in the analysis capture will help you what the criteria you need to have or do reporting for all the output. So it's one is available, not only for the regression analysis, maybe capability analysis also have on this one. Okay. So maybe it will help you summarize, maybe it will help you organize and identify why you choose this particular of the analysis. Okay. And then, of course, this one is the most important. Was the starting with the process improvement, you start with the process map. Okay, so we also have something like maybe this one is a simple. Okay, maybe you want to see on the complicated one, maybe you can go for the VSM. VSM also available in the Minitab Workspace. For those are familiar with the link, okay, I think this one is a is your familiar with this VSM. Okay, as we know, VSM also have something like calculation. Okay, your cycle time, your value added, now value added. So you want to all this one, you're able to do in the Minitab Workspace. Okay, and then of course we go for the next tools is brainstorm tools. Okay, so in the brainstorm tools, we have many layout. Okay, for example, you want to do something like mind map. Okay, maybe you want to go for the fishbone, and then maybe you want to do the idea maps or want to do the something like city tree. So no worries if let's say you create as a city tree, but you want to change to the others layout, something like idea maps. So it will do for you. Okay, you also can do it. Since all these tools, all this form is can customize it. And then we have another tools in the available in the Minitab Workspace is we call multi-color simulation. So this one is something like further analysis after you do optimization, something like you don't want to experimental. Okay, but you want to do the prediction. You want to do the, we call this one is a simulation. Without do the experimental, after you do something like, you know, now your process is in control. After control, you assess on the capability, your process is capable. After that, maybe you want to do optimization, you do something like DOE. Okay, so you do optimization, but DOE maybe is something like costing, is timely. Okay, and then if let's say you want to avoid that thing, so maybe you can use the multi-color simulation to do the same thing. Okay, you can do the something like forecast the result. You can optimize the effortless, okay, with the speed and efficiency. So if let's say you're coming from the statistical background, the multi-color simulation is the further analysis you can done in the Minitab Workspace. Okay. So this one also something like the list of the customer or use the workspace in their company. Maybe it's from the university itself. We also have the corporate company using the Minitab Workspace in their daily job. Okay, so able to see on this one. So I think the best thing, try open. Okay, so once you open the Minitab Workspace, you can see this interface. Okay, and this one is something like, as we mentioned, I mentioned just now, we have a tools, we have a project. So once you open, launch your Minitab Workspace, you have a two option, whether as a tools where or we are the project. Okay, for example, you choose a tools. Okay, this one is, let's say you want to see the full list, you can click on this full list. Okay, you can see all this. Okay, maybe you want to see the last one. I just start with the process map. Okay, I just start with the process map. So you can see after you choose whether it's a tools or project, so we pop up this space. Okay, they pop up this one. Okay, in this one, maybe you can go for the home. Okay, something like you want to do editing purpose, and then you can go for the insert. So no worries if let's say you're starting with the project map, but you want to add other store, something like analysis capture. Okay, you want to add the analysis capture, you can do. Okay, so for example here, maybe you want to do the capability or control chart. Okay, we control chart. Okay, control chart, and then you click on create. Okay, so you're able to see another tools you add in this project file. Okay, so maybe you want to see on the insert one, maybe you want to see on the value stream map. Okay, so you just click on the value stream map, and then they have something like this one. Maybe you want to create your own, or maybe you want to just proceed with the 4 process. Maybe you have a complicated process. Okay, more process you have, you can choose the 7 process. Maybe I go for this one, and then you could click on this one. Okay, now you're able to see the VSM. Okay, so no worries if let's say you open as a tools, but you make it as a project, you can add the others tools available in this one. Okay, so for example, I go back to this one. Okay, file, open, new one. Okay, I want to open as the project. Okay, I want to open as a project. Maybe I go for the DMIC project. So I click here, and then the one was one. Okay, so now you open the Minitab Workspace as the project. So as we know, the DMIC is a D for define. Okay, M is a measure, A is for analyze, I for improve, and then C for control. So for each stage of this pace, they provide the those inside this every pace. Okay, so if let's say you don't want, you just right click, and then you can see you can cut, you can delete, you can rename, and so on. Okay, maybe you don't want this one. Yes. Okay, or maybe you can add. So something like you want to add others. Okay, something like this one. Okay, in this one, maybe you want to add the VSM on this one, so you able to see it. Okay, for example, maybe most of our customer always this one is the new one, PPAP. Okay, if it coming from the automotive background, I think this one is you need to do it. Okay, so we have 18 things to do. Okay, so they give it you this one. Okay, this one is project today's project charter, and then your financial data. Okay, and maybe you can go for this one. How this one? Okay, they give it you something that one, and then maybe just checklist for this PPAP project and so on. So we come back to this one. I go back to this one. So this one is available roadmap in the workspace. But if let's say you have your own, maybe you can customize your project on this one. Okay. Okay. So let we try with this one, the first one. Maybe I want to see on the analysis capture. We want to see on the analysis capture. Okay. So I choose the control chart. Okay. So this one is control chart. I want to create the new tools. It's a control chart. Okay, I have done the Minitab so on, and then I have one project here. Is something we call the finding. Okay. Sorry, a lot of typo for game. Okay, so you have your control chart, what type of the control chart you want, and this one. So for the analysis capture, actually is something like a form. Okay, if let's say you want to add another box or whatever, so you can go for the design. You can click the design, and then you can add the data entry or your formulas. Okay, and then your drop down box and so on. So you can add. So after you finish the design, okay, you add something one, maybe you can go for the fill out. So this one is then change. If let's say you want to change anything, you can go for the design. Okay, so this applicable for the form also for this case. Okay, we go for this. I have this case study. Okay, so this project actually we start with the find the baseline. Okay, so we do the graphical, we do the control chart. Okay, so based on this control chart is the baseline. Okay, this one is the improvement. Okay, we do the current process. This one is after the process improvement. So based on this one, we want to create something like process map. We want to find where is our main problem. Okay, so before you get the best Y, the best X, maybe you need to choose the important process. So we try with the sorry, we try with the insert process map. Okay, so just only for the process map. Okay, maybe this one is we have a layout, okay, already layout or template on this one. We just want to choose on the flow chart. Create this one. So as we know, we start with the start your project with this icon. Maybe you start here and then we go for the process. Maybe you want to add another process. Okay, maybe you want to do something like decision. Okay, and then maybe this one is start. Okay, and here, okay, maybe the heating. Okay, here I want to change delete. You can right click delete only. Okay, delete. Maybe I want to choose another process. Okay, with me. Another process. Okay, working. Another process. Okay. Okay, so you have this one. Maybe every process you have your own X variables. Okay, your parameter include on this process. Okay, for example here, maybe you want to add new input variable for this process, for the heating process. So you can just click on this pane and then you click new. So your variables name, what is your variables name? Okay, maybe here is for this. Okay, and then maybe you have your own type. This one is controllable or SOP or a noisy or something that one. Okay, and then your data type maybe is a continuous or attribute or something that one. Then if let's say here, click OK. Okay, so now you see on this X here, after you insert the this input on this one. Okay, maybe this one is important when you want to proceed with the other tools. Okay, where that's when we they say that Minitab Workspace can share the data set. Okay, the variable here. So maybe we go for the Y. So we have a Y here, ingot. Okay, and then you click OK. So now you get the Y. But not only one X or only one Y you can do. Okay, maybe you can add another X. It's something like yes. Okay, and then you click OK. Okay, for this also you also can do. Okay, maybe you can go for the X. Okay, then click OK. New. Okay, for the Y also can. Click OK. Okay, so maybe you want to change the color here. Okay, you just click and then you can format for this one. Maybe this process is the most important. So maybe you want to change to other colors. Oh, sorry. Okay. So I already done it for all this process map. So I color code with the yellow color means that I assume that this one is the most important process. Okay, and then I would further for this project with the something like we call the brainstorm. Okay, so you can go for the insert, and then you choose the brainstorm. For this case, I will choose the fishbone. Okay, I will choose the layout for the fishbone. And then maybe they have an option fishbone cost an 85. Maybe you can go for the main machine material and so on. So I go for the fishbone and then I create. Okay, we have the effect this one. Maybe your effect, you decide your effect. Okay. Okay. So maybe you can import Okay, you can see on here, you have a list of the X variables. Okay, maybe you check all this one, you click OK. Okay, you already have this import variable. Maybe you see on the process map, you already put all the X variable and Y variable for each process here. So that's why when you open the fishbone, okay, they have a import X variable or import the Y variables. Okay, maybe here, okay, your cost, okay, yes. Okay, so maybe you can go for the performing die. Okay, just drag. If let's say you already do it. Okay. Okay, you just drag. If let's say you already import your variables. Okay, if let's say no, maybe you can just type it. Okay, maybe you can clean it. Okay, so and then maybe you can go for another this one. Okay, so you can add the child. Okay, you add the sibling for this one. Maybe you want to add the affinity, you add the child. Okay, you want to add this one is sibling. Okay, so all this one you can customize it, or maybe you want to change to the others layout. Maybe you go for the idea map, something that one, or maybe you don't want my map, so you can change every time you do it this one. Okay, go back to this one, and then maybe you can put the priority for each this one. Maybe you can do priority 1. Okay, so means that this one is an important part. Okay, maybe this one is the priority 4. One is not important part for this case. So you can do something like help you organize, okay, for all the tools. Okay, so something like you want to import the X, so you can import the X. Check all this one and then click OK. So all this one for the X and Y. So if let's say you don't want, you can type it, or you can type it on this box. Okay, so you have option to import the X variable or by type to enter, and then after that you drag into the fishbone. Okay, and then after that others you can type on this box. Okay, this one is the way you want to do you use the fishbone. Okay, after that we go for the form. Okay, so insert, we try with the form. Okay, form here we chose the FMEA. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this one is we have something like FMEA for the process, or we have a support with the AIG standard. This one is the new one. Okay, just add. Okay, for example, you want process with the FMEA for the process. You click and then you create. Okay, so your project name already have on this one. So if let's say you have a prepared by Woo, okay, you can do, and then you can add this one. Okay, for example here, if let's say you see on this icon, so have a yellow icon here, a orange icon here, maybe this process map you can import, okay, from your process map or from your brainstorm and so on. So that's one is you can share your data set. For example, here we try with the perform. Okay, so this one is from here. Maybe the key input process also have. Okay, so you just put. Okay. And then here is your severity. Okay. So maybe incorrect. Okay, so your CC is 7. Okay, this one is the current. Okay, so this one for the RPM, Minitab Workspace will calculate to you for you. Okay, automatic calculate after we know RPM is the something like severity or CC and the DAT information. If let's say you're not sure, you can open the instruction here. Okay, for the form, you able to see the instruction. Okay, for each column on this one. Okay, maybe you can go for the process map, start this one. What is the severity rating? Okay, your potential causes, and then your CC. Okay, and then your DAT. Okay, so you can evaluate the RPM. Okay, to identify the risk of this one. So maybe this information, something like help button in the Minitab statistical software, something that one. Okay, just give you information. Okay, before you get started with all the form, and then for all the analysis capture only. But for the insert something like process map, fishbone, Monte Carlo simulation, they not provide this instruction. Just only for the form. Okay, they provide the information. So maybe you have another step. Okay, you can add the rows. Okay, with the value or below or something that one multiple row. How many rows you want? Okay, maybe 5, and then you click. Okay, so that's one. Maybe you can add another process. Okay, so you have your key input process. Okay, maybe you have this this one is something like not related with the X variable or Y variables. After you include one variables, they will have in the next step. You able to see the same information or same data. You're able to just if let's say in case you're using the same information or same data set. Okay, you can just choose directly on this one. Okay, for example, here I already have this case one, the complete of the FMEA. Okay, we have the 15 step, okay, sorry, 16 step we're using. And then we choose the process map, flow, performing die. We have the potential failure mode. We have the failure effect, severity. Okay, we include all this severity. And then we have the RPM, okay, and then we have the action recommend responsibility, and then the reverse matrices. So based on the RPM, maybe the highest PM, you look more on this high RPM numbers. Okay, so this one, I will start. Maybe we start with the simple thing. You decide the baseline, and then after that you identify the process. Where is your process? Okay, it's most important here. For this case, we prefer onto 2 process, performing and then finish fogging. After that, after we identify the X variables, we identify the Y variables, maybe this time we collect the data for the preforms die and so on. And then after that, we go another drill down that one based on the fishbone diagram. Okay, we go for this one, fishbone diagram. After we do the fishbone diagram, we go for the FMEA. Okay, we do the FMEA. Okay, so all these things are share the data. Okay, so no need to worry. Okay, if let's say I want to add another form, something like C animatrix. Okay, C animatrix. Okay, and then you create. Okay, so you just put it this one, or selecting X variables. So you can select all. Maybe you uncheck all this one. Click OK. Okay, so you uncheck this one. So you can okay, you can share your data set. Okay, so no worries. a lot of those you do, but you're using the same data, so no worries, no need to type a back. Okay, just call or import into other stores. Okay. So we try open a Minitab Workspace as a project, okay, or roadmap we call. Okay, we start with the DMIC. For this case, we want to try the project as the name of this project is improve the quality performance of new eco-labeled detergent production line. Okay, so for this case, we have the project charter. Okay, who is your leader? Okay, and then your status of the project, when start, okay, due date, when you complete all the project, you have the process classification, and then maybe you have this one is the process objective. Okay, so you want to defect reduce of 50%, you want to improve the stability. Okay, and then you want to determine the manufacturing process parameter for eco-label detergent, and then but not increase time to manufacturing. And then you have the business case, and then maybe you have other team members. Okay, you have your own team members, and then after that we go for the CT3 diagram. Okay, first they define for the define and scope of project, your CTQ. Okay, they based on the CTQ, the wideness, the stability, the order. Maybe this one is from your customer complaint. Okay, from this one, and then they further brainstorm, and then they get this for the wideness. We have a significant construction mixing process, and then after that they go for the project risk assessment. Okay, they assess all this one, and then they go for the process map. Okay, this one. So we start the project. Okay, they have the dry ingredient, okay, wet ingredient, and then we go for the mix into sulfur spray, and then they create the process map for each process, and then after that the last one is the packaging process. Okay, and then they study with the gauge R&R, since a lot of the variables, a lot of measurement, okay, include on this study. So that's why they have the gauge R&R project. Okay, so based on this gauge R&R, you can see that part is more than gauge R&R. Okay, but for the gauge, actually, this is coming from the reproducibility. Okay, so they drill down back to the capability analysis. So based on this CPCPK, actually is this process is not capable yet. Okay, they need to do something else for this case. And then after that, they have a analyze phases. Okay, during the analyze phases, they're using the CNE metric. Okay, so they're using the CEN metric. Okay, based on this one, the significant construction is the most important here. Okay, so they drill down with this CN metric, they collect the data, they do the regression analysis. Okay, so based on this one, the output is the wideness. Okay, the variable is a significant construction. Okay, and then do the regression. So they have a one line here. Okay, and then this one is the quadratic. Okay, it's not the linear. Okay, and then after do the regression, so they provide with the fishbone diagram. Maybe they go for the cut regression analysis to find out more on this basis. Okay, after do the analyze, they go for the improvement. Okay, during the improvement, they provide the Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, just I will show after this for the Monte Carlo simulation, and then they go for the control chart. Control plan for the control phases. So all this one is not must be like this. Okay, during the define, you need to use the CT3. You need to use the process map. Is not. This one is a flexible tools. Okay, you can add, you can delete. But this one is we call it the idea to you before you proceed on this all these pieces of DMIC pieces. Okay, so if let's say you don't want 63, you just insert maybe you can cut. Okay, can delete. Okay, so all this one actually you can export to PDF or you can send to the PowerPoint. For example, here maybe I go for the process map. So I want to export to the PDF. So you click on the process map, export to the PDF. Okay, so you can export to the PDF or maybe you can send to the words or send to the PowerPoint. Okay, for this case, I try send to the words. Okay. Oh, sorry. So maybe I need to open the words first. Okay. So maybe you can send for the PowerPoint. Okay, already send the PowerPoint. Open the. Okay, maybe something. Wait. We try with others. Simple thing. Okay. This one. Try another way for the words of PowerPoint. So maybe I need have something error here. I need look after this, but definitely you can send to the words or send to the PowerPoint. Seems like Minitab statistical software also same. Okay, if let's say you remember the in the Minitab statistical software, if let's say you open the Minitab statistical software, you be able to open the workspace. Okay, if let's say you subscribe the or you buy the license for the Minitab Workspace. Okay. So far, any question before I go for the brainstorm, Monte Carlo simulation? Okay, already done it. Okay, go back to this one. Okay, so for this case, okay, Monte Carlo simulation is something like for this case, you have your continuous improvement team. Okay, you want to conduct a series of experiment in Minitab. Okay, you already done your experimental, and then you want to determine the significant factor in the process. Okay, the transform position, the ejection speed are the factor they want to focus it. So during the experimental, they already have the models. Okay, this one is a something like input from your DOE side. So the response is your Y here. Okay, your response. And then this one is transfer position, your injection speed, your transfer position. This one is your X or you call the parameter during to the experimental. So once you get this output, so you might be using the Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, so the first thing you need to have the model before you go for the Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, if let's say you doesn't have this criteria, okay, this model, we call this model, so you're not able to simulate your process, simulate your data. You're not able to using the Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, so this one is the step. Okay, you need to define the model. So this one is we call it the model, and then you can run the simulate and then review the result, and then you can perform the parameter optimization, and then you can perform a sensitivity analysis. Okay, I will show how to done it with this one. Okay, so go back to the insert, and then you choose Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, so this one, the first step you need have the define the models. Okay, so how to get, maybe you do the experimental or maybe you do something like a regression. Okay, you get the models. For this case, we have our Y. Okay, our Y here is the, okay, our equation is 1. Sorry, takes some time to type it, this number. Okay. Plus with the speed. Okay. So maybe you can insert the X here. So X here is the transfer position. Maybe you already have the normal. Okay, maybe you have the others option. Okay, distribution also can. Okay, not the only for the normal. For this case, we assume this project is a normal distribute. Okay, so different distribution have different parameter. Okay, for this case, only have since the normal, so you're using the mean and the standard deviation. So you add another one. See, also the normal one. Okay. Okay. So now your model is something like your response, and then you have the transfer position, your X, and then your ejection speed. Okay. So you want to iterate how many? So this one I just proceed with this default. So I go for the simulate. Okay. So now they get the simulation for this case. Okay. So now you go for the next step. You set up the spec limit. Okay. You set up the spec limit. So maybe for this case, the spec limit. One. Okay. Maybe, sorry. This one low. 0.5. This one maybe. Okay, so they give it you the CPK value and then how many spec is out of spec, how many percent of our spec. Okay, so maybe you can go back to the, maybe you can go for the model. Okay, so on this case, you try have the spec limit for the Y. Okay, you have your Y spec limit and then you do the simulate. Okay, or you can go for the parameter optimization. Okay, parameter means that your X variable here. Maybe you have your low number or you have your height number. Okay, maybe low, here is from maybe 1. Okay, here is a maybe 5. Okay, maybe is 15. Okay, optimize the parameter side. Okay, so you can try and error. Okay, so based on this parameter, okay, this is this parameter setting. Okay, so your process performance is increased to 7.44, but our spec is a 0. Since maybe the spec limit is a big, maybe you can move small less the gap between the upper and the lower limit. Okay, so this one is something like good. If let's say you want to do the optimization, so you want to optimize your output or you want to optimize your input, so you able to use the Monte Carlo simulation. Maybe you can go for the next step is a sensitivity analysis. Okay, for this case, maybe you want to change how many percent you want to change. Okay, Maybe you want to change with this one, and then we try with simulate again. Okay, with this value, so you can see that the process performance is decreased, okay, from this value to this value. Okay, so you able to see on this parameter optimization or sensitivity analysis on this case. Okay, for the sensitivity analysis, maybe you can go for the percentage. How percent you want to decrease, how percent you want to increase for each parameter here. Okay, so I will do go back to the insert. Maybe you can go for the Monte Carlo simulation, and then you choose you import. Maybe you import from the Minitab. Okay, so means that you already done the DOE, and then you put your X variable here. You put your distribution. Okay, and then you put your equation here. After you put equation here, you simulate, and then you can get the parameter optimization, and then you get the sensitivity analysis. So they convert into the CPK value and percentage of aspect. Okay. Okay. So for this case, you can import the to PDF file, all the tools, okay, or the tool or the form, and then you can import, if let's say calculations part, you can import to CSV file, and then you can send to Words or send to PowerPoint. Okay, so how to this one? You just go for the file, go back to this one. Okay. Okay, file, maybe file, you can export. Okay, maybe you can save as a template or save as. Okay, so you can save all this one. You can create this one, and then you can send to the Microsoft Office. Okay, and then as a summary, all the essential tools, business tools in one place. Okay, so Minitab Workspace enable you to move forward with the powerful visual tools, process map, brainstorm diagram, and form in one interface. Okay, our tools help from the process and identify the opportunity, ultimate the making process easier to solve it. So this one is one of the another software you need consider it, okay, to use in your daily job. Okay, so if let's say you have questions, so please type into the question box or chat box. Okay.